to verse 16, which was the last part of Shamati Shatka Sampattihi. And after that, I saw there's just one Mumukshutvam is the only one which is left, which completes Sadhana Chatushtaya. So Viveka, Vairagya, Shamati Shatka Sampattihi, and Mumukshutvam. So Mumukshutvam is the verse 17. I think we have discussed Mumukshutvam a lot even earlier. Unless someone wants more elaboration, we can continue further actually. But before I start further, I want to give opportunity to everyone to raise doubts, if any, until now. Hare Om Mahadev.
Hare Om Bhaskar.
So, in any doubts that we have until verse 16 or 17, we can discuss. I'll just give maybe 30 seconds for people to raise hands if any. Else, we can continue further. And what we have seen until now is like, first I think what was hailed was the importance of getting human birth. That was pointed out. It's very rare to get human birth, and unless someone has worked towards it, one would not have got this human birth. It is not by chance that someone is getting human birth. And having obtained human birth, one has to understand what is the objective of human birth. There has to be some difference between any other creature and a human being. And that's why Shastra points out that, yes, there are 4 things in the world, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, out of which Moksha is one thing which differentiates as an objective, something which is meant for human beings as against other living beings, other jivas. So this was mentioned. And that's where it was mentioned that fine, all that you are looking for is liberation from bondage. So what is bondage? All this will be coming later. So Mumukshutvam was hailed as one of the main things, and that is rightfully also mentioned in Sadhana Chatushtaya. In Sadhana Chatushtaya, Viveka, Vairagya, Shamati Shatka Sampattihi, and Mumukshutvam. So these are all important ingredients. So once having ascertained this Purushartha, one has to pursue towards it. One has to take actions, steps towards proceeding toward this particular objective and gaining what is to be gained. It was also mentioned that action does not give liberation. Liberation comes only from knowledge, and if at all action is involved, it is like picking up a book, studying it. That can be called as an action. But in terms of vichara, unless vichara happens, inquiry happens, and the doubts get clarified, Vastu Siddhi is not going to happen. Vastu Siddhi vicharena is something which was pointed out. And the next step which was pointed out was that, fine, is it like someone can just get up and start the inquiry and get knowledge immediately? What was mentioned was that one has to gain Chitta Shuddhi, purification of mind. And for that, list of sadhana was mentioned. That is what was in the form of Sadhana Chatushtaya. And once the mind is purified, vichara happens much in a better way. The doubts get clarified even in a much better way, and things become clearer. And this clarity is what is required in order to be free. This is what was mentioned until now. Yes, you have some question.
आप अपना म्यूट इको हुआ था थोड़ा वॉइस.
Is it echoing even now?
No, Manish speaking side I think I hear.
Okay. If probably they are logged in. Now it's on. Okay. So now it's. Yeah, now it's fine. So apart from doubt, that doubt, there was no other doubt. Okay, good then. So nice that until whatever has been seen until now has been assimilated. That's a good sign. So 17th one, as I mentioned, it is just Mumukshutvam. And Mumukshutvam we have already discussed earlier. I do not want to repeat it. After that, what is mentioned here is Ukta sadhana sampannah tattva pujyasuratmanah upasite gurum pragyam yasmat bandhavi mokshanam. So basically, one who has ascertained that yes, this is the right way to go has to find a teacher and ask him the right questions, and that is what is going to get him away, get him rid of his bondage, sense of being bound. So that also, if you ask me, it is very simple. One guy, only gurus have this knowledge and others don't have this knowledge. If one is already that ultimate, why one doesn't know it naturally? So all these questions can be asked, but practically what we feel is that one is ignorant. That's what we feel. And there are many concepts which come from outside to us, including even a simple material knowledge, simple thing as well, we learn only from outside. So we can say that those things also could have been just inbuilt in us when we were born, but that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Even if one has to understand that, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, it becomes vapor. We learn it over a period of time. That's all. Either someone tells us or we see it. As far as self-knowledge is concerned, as far as the self is concerned, this is not something which you can stumble upon like water vapor. So that, accidentally you can just come across you. It doesn't happen this way. Self is just oneself. And this ignorance about oneself is just coming along with us everywhere actually. So this is something where you need external help. That's where external help is available in form of Shastra. And Shastra being words. Words have to be handled and this has to be transformed from one person to another person. So this is where someone who has already heard these and got clarification gives the same clarity to next person. That's the only role of Shastra, and Guru is only presenting Shastra. So that's why Guru is verse 19. Some of these verses are very small actually. I think it doesn't even in terms of explanation. So I will just go ahead with these. Here, talking about what is the nature of a guru, how is a guru defined, how he behaves or something like this, how his attributes is given in the verse. There are a couple of slokas which give that. Is one of them. Shrotriyo avrijino akamahato yo brahmavattamaha brahmanyuparatah shantaha nirindana ivanaha ahetuka dayasin.
पता नहीं काय का
All that it shows
प्रॉब्लम आता रहता है.
One who has completely gone through this. So the entire body of knowledge. So when Uparayana happened, that Veda is taught, everything. It is taught. People learn this and then you have Shravana Manana. And then one chooses moksha, the main pursuit, then they become sannyasi and they learn this different varnashrama and then can become a sannyasi and pursue this.
एक डिवाइस पे ढंग से कनेक्ट नहीं होता है.
That to be
I'll have to say we've lost him.
इस पे कनेक्ट करना.
we need to finally
इससे वो ले लो.
required for
हॉटस्पॉट.
only understand. Not only if you are equally helpful, but just knowing Vedas and not knowing oneself to be that ultimate, that Aham Brahmasmi realization, if it is not there, it is not going to help. Right? So that's kind of pointed out here. Shrotriyo and also Brahmavittamaha, the one who is a Brahmavit. So that is very important actually. Earlier I used to mention this one sloka which goes thus: Janmana jayate shudra karmana dvija uchyate vedapatena viprasyat brahmano brahmavedanat. So this is a classification based on the maturity actually in terms of who who is a Brahmana. Brahmavit is a Brahmana. With means the one who knows. Brahmavit is Brahmana. So what is Brahmavit? To know oneself to be the cause of this world is knowing Brahman. Nityavastu Ekam Brahma Tad Vitariktam Sarvam Anityam. So understanding this Nityavastu is Atma Jnana. Knowing that to be oneself is Atma Jnana. He is called a Brahmana in terms of guna. So that is how it is very important to understand that becoming a guna-wise Brahmana is the objective of everyone in life. So if you see, there are so many confusions in society. So someone can be called based on jati, someone can be classified based on karma, and someone can be classified based on guna. Basically, mind does all this classification actually, because anything that mind perceives, it will classify. First classification is, okay, this is preferable, not preferable. Helpful, not helpful. Friend, foe. So this keeps on happening actually. So that is how Varnashrama also happens, if you see. It is a nice, system where things are laid down in a nice rule-based society where people can follow their own responsibilities and achieve. Finally, going towards the Guna Brahmana status is the real goal for everyone for that matter. So, of all this, jati is not such a great thing, karma is also not such a great thing. Basically, becoming a Guna Brahmana is what is very important. To that extent, these lines, Janmana Jayate Shudra, when someone is born, everyone is a Shudra. Because tamas is to that level. And a Shudra is that person who has tamas as more in terms of measure, followed by Rajas and followed by Sattva in a small measure. So that has to change over a period of time. This happens to everyone when they are child. This is what happens normally. Over a period only they mature. Over a period they understand, they are given to this knowledge of this body of knowledge of Vedas, where the life becomes more based on Vidhi Nisheda and not based on Ragadvesha. So kid normally, if you see, kid goes based on Ragadvesha. For example, it will just get up at night and say, no, I want milk, I want food, that's all. It doesn't matter to it whether it is night and you are not supposed to eat when sun is down there. All this doesn't matter. It just matters, what matters to it is its own nature, that's all. So they call it Prakrita Purusha. So from being a Prakrita Purusha, a person is initiated into Vedas, study of Vedas, to become a Samskrita Purusha. So Prakrita Purusha to Samskrita Purusha. So basically becoming Samskrita Purusha is also basically going toward Chitta Shuddhi first. So Chitta Shuddhi happens with this intermediate knowledge of whatever funda is introduced in Veda, in the body of knowledge, and then obviously the second part is Mumukshutvam in terms of inquiry. So this is how things go actually. So one has to be very clear that the objective of human life is Mumukshutvam, and in other words, becoming a Brahmana from a Guna perspective. So a person who is a Brahmavit is a Brahmana. So that is what everyone has to strive to achieve. And this is available as an opportunity for everyone in the society. It is only that one has to acknowledge this and acknowledge that yes, this facility is available and they have to just be interested in this pursuit, that's all. Once they are interested, they will definitely get it. In fact, we have even seen this story of Rishi Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya by Jati, and he had, of course, his Rajya and all, but somehow he turned his attention towards gaining this Brahminhood. So basically then he must be first understanding that, okay, how to get the status. And over a period, he understood that it is more to do with the mental modification than any physical achievement. So every time he was achieving something with tapas, shakti, and he used to come back and ask for validation, saying, okay, now am I a Brahmana? So he used to keep on asking every time. And sage Vasishta was the person who used to say, no, even not now, not now, not now. Every time he used to say, not now. He used to get so perturbed actually, to an extent that, he had even obtained this Brahmastra. So he thought, okay, gaining Brahmastra at least should, make a person to be qualified as Brahmana. So he thought that perhaps, Sage Vishwamitra. So when Sage Vashishta does not agree or acknowledge the other person to be a Brahmin, even at that time, he uses it on Sage Vashishta. And to his surprise, he sees that Sage Vashishta had another technique actually called Brahmadanda. He had something else called Brahmadanda, which could swallow Brahmastra. Brahmadanda is the only thing which can stop Brahmastra. There is nothing else which can stop it. So Vishwamitra was stunned actually that, having obtained all these things as well, there is something more to be achieved. So even materially, something more was to be achieved. So finally, then, he understands that it is not this material possession that is going to be more important. It is more the self-knowledge that is more important. And then he understands, finally, when obviously he need not seek validation after that. By that time, Vasishtha ji says that, fine, now you are a Brahmanyani, you are a Brahmarshi. So this is what happens even in this case. So that journey is very nicely shown there actually. Because outwardly stuff is not what, Atma Jnana is all about. Atma Jnana is more inward, and knowledge is the antidote and ignorance is the root cause. And that is the problem. So ignorance, obviously, you can say is located in oneself, and that's where one has to act upon. That's why vichara is the antidote to this ignorance. So this is what we had seen until now. So Shrotriyo, Abrijino, Akahamato, Yabrahmavittamah. So obviously Akamahato, these are all things mentioned, unless he was someone who was beyond desires, who could at least have desires in his control. Obviously, he could have never, pursued Vedanta himself and, become a Brahmanyani. So without becoming a Brahmanyani, in any case, he can't even deliver this knowledge to anyone else. So obviously, those list of things, Shantaha. So obviously, he has to be, patient enough. Nirindhana iva anala. So what is mentioned is that, someone who knows so much, but then they are so stable. So they've equated this, situation to a state where you have this charcoal, right? When it is burned, it reaches a stable state wherein the heat is there, but you don't have smoke or you don't have any activity seen there. But that the burning in terms of giving heat alone is just there actually. So that kind of knowledge they radiate. So that is what without a lot of ado, you can say. So that kind of mental state they are normally in. So this is what is mentioned about Guru. Ahetuka daya sindhuhu. So in case they are imparting this knowledge to someone else, it is just by nature that they are inclined to do that, not because of any other reason, not because someone has to be called, okay, you have so many students, or he's going to get an award saying, oh, this is the National Teacher Award. This is not what it is meant for. This person has gained something from the system. He was also a beneficiary of the same system. He is just giving that, transferring that benefit to others as well. That's all. Because for him also it was available free. Knowledge definitely was available free. It was only that he had to approach a person who could convey that knowledge. That's the only effort he had to take. After that, and if you see, everything was given. Shastra is not created by oneself. It is available. Guru was not created by oneself. He was available. He or she, whosoever. So this person acknowledges that automatically when one understands Aham to be that Brahman, the cause of everything. Obviously, they will get all these qualities. This is a natural corollary actually. So once they have this, Ahetuka daya sindhuhu, they have that empathy, and they are not worried in terms of ragadvesha that, oh God, I have to lift everyone, from this problem. Aisa kuch nahi. No one has to lift anyone actually. Everyone is taken care of by the Lord, and Shastra will take care of everyone eventually. It is just that this person is playing a role, that's all. So he just keeps it to that level, not because of any other benefit or not because of any other, name, fame, money, none of these things. Ahetuka daya sindhuhu. Without any reason, he has some concern in terms of, concern, sometimes can be taken negative, not in that sense of concern, but worry kind of a thing. Yes, he has that, what you can say, compassion to impart this knowledge to others who are seeking that knowledge. So that's what is mentioned here. So these are the characteristics of a guru. Then the next verse goes thus: Tamaradhyam gurum bhaktya prahya prahyavashevanaihi prasannam tamanuprapya prachet jnatavyam atmanaha. Yes, Ashish, you want to ask?
Sorry, I have a question. Sir, here in this sloka it's written Nirindhana.
Nirindhana ivanalaha. Nirindhana means without fuel.
Without fuel means what?
Without fuel means, if you see when the charcoal is burnt, normally you still see that black color normally. But when it is completely burnt, you only see the redness there actually. You don't see even the charcoal. You just see fire alone.
Uh-huh.
So the fuel kind of is almost not there. The fuel kind of is not there at all. It is just fire, pure fire actually. So to say that, he doesn't have any other desire or any other thing, that is seen as fuel. So he's
Okay.
completely energy. So to a larger extent, you can say it is like, when matter is already converted to energy, it's just in the form of pure energy.
Okay. Okay.
That's what is meant there. Okay, so the next line, the next verse says that, having identified a person like that, one has to go and specifically ask a question as to what is that one thing which is to be known. Prichet jnatavyam atmanaha. Jnatavya, what is that is to be known? That one has to go and ask, because this is more of inquiry, right? What is to be done is not the question. What is to be known is the question. So one has to go and ask him, okay, please teach me that is supposed to be known. In one of the Upanishad, this comes like this kind of a context comes, wherein you have a king and his son. His son is sent to Gurukula, and he comes back after studying there. Father asks him actually, okay, have you learned everything? He says, yeah, I've learned everything. So he asks him, did you learn that by knowing which everything else is as though known? So this student is someone who thinks he's so brilliant and then he knows everything, and then to an extent that he even looks down upon gurus. That kind of a person that gentleman was. So his reply comes, student's reply comes, his son's reply comes saying that, okay, if Guru had known something like that, he would have taught me in any case, was the reply. So that's when the dialogue goes to the level of an Upanishad actually. Then he tells him that, yes, there is something. He's asking, is there something which, by knowing which you know everything else? Then his father says, yes, it does. From there, the knowledge starts actually, the Upanishad starts. So everywhere, this point of knowing comes, takes priority. That's why Vastu Siddhi Vicharena is very important. Having gone to a guru, one has to understand, one has to ask, what is that one thing that is to be known as given by Shastras? Please teach me that. That is what is the objective in this pursuit. So it is very clear. Prichet, you should ask, Jnatavya. So there is something like, Shrotravya, Mantavya, Nitidhyasitavya. So what is to be done? I mean, one has to be, one is like, by hearting things, learning, listening by hearting. Mantavya, making it, inside and assimilating it a little bit more. Nitidhyasitavya. That is inquiry and the next level of assimilation where the concept and the words and the self, inquirer become one. So that's where the Nitidhyasana part of it. So it is said that Prichet Jnatavyam Atmanaha. So something about Atma, what is there, something that is to be known. Please teach me, O Guru. That what is the demand or request by the student to Guru. So this is what is said in verse 20. Please go ahead.
So in this verse 20, now it talks about the characteristics of a guru. Me as a Shishya who doesn't have any knowledge, I, without any knowledge, it talks about that the guru should be like this. I cannot even judge. I have I myself doesn't know anything, and then who I can be to even judge a guru. So it is basically like what I see, I have to, or what, like I need to have this Shraddha.
Correct,
The
absolutely.
Guru knows it. I cannot be a judge because I myself is an ignorant person. So because it says having found this kind of a person, I cannot find this kind of a person. I only need to have a Shraddha that the person I have found has all these qualities.
Absolutely right. I think you're bang on the topic actually. As a student, we are approaching someone where we still don't have, even probably 5% of knowledge about what we are going to really read or where we are getting into. So Your point is that how do I even know that someone already knows it, so that he can impart that knowledge to me? Your doubt is absolutely right. So this is where I think our sampradaya comes as a help. Our own parents, our own society comes as a help, wherein we know that there are established people whom people keep talking about. For example, Shankaracharya's name we have been hearing from our childhood. Either someone must have seen through a film, or someone would have seen through a drama, or someone must have been listening to this from their own parents or their relatives, close relatives, sometimes in some prasanga. So we are introduced to these concepts, as well as to some of this Mahapurusha just by accident. So this is there in the system. So in the sampradaya, it is already there everywhere. And when we connect with that, then that is where this accidental thing, if you want to call it to some extent, happens. But one also has to understand that it is not accident all the time. It is that one wanted it, and that is how that person got it actually. So this is where the lines given by the great Einstein, Albert Einstein, makes good sense. I'm sure he has understood this. So he had written saying, God never plays a game of dice. So he doesn't, he doesn't play a game of dice. I mean, he knows what is the scheme actually, and things happen only because of certain reason, not because of random, not on a random basis. So, like Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji also says that God does not distribute grace. It's not like just he gets up today and saying, "Fine, now let me see whom I have to distribute grace." Grace has to be earned. So grace is always earned. Okay, one question. I'll come to you, Mahadev. I'll just finish this. So, how grace is earned before knowing, before even understanding that what is Purushartha, there is something to be known, and that is about oneself only. If even someone doesn't know these things, then how one can earn grace? See, the desire to be free is a natural desire, and it is in everyone. It is just that it is not spelled out in as many terms as to what is that desire all about, what are they desiring, which vastu they are actually looking at. This happens a little later when Shastra points it out, or when someone comes across this concept. But until then, everyone has this desire to be free. To that extent, the Lord has already given this in everyone as a seed actually. That seed only ensures that this person goes to the source of knowledge. The only difference is between X and Y. X also has the same desire to be free finally. Y also has the same desire to be free. In the case of X, he is yet to understand that, okay, to be free, I am thinking that, okay, if I get a house, I'll be free. And if I get married, I'll be free. If I get children, I'll be free. If I have enough money in my pension account, I'll be free. So this is the thinking normally. Anyone has the same thinking only. Everything that is coming from external to us is, taken as the source of happiness, source of ananda, source of overcoming bondage. So everyone thinks that the bondage is a simple bondage, whether in terms of money, fame, security, whatever. And that's where, the other Purushartha makes sense to them. So dharma, artha, kama. So these three things become the immediate pursuit by default for overcoming bondage. Somewhere, this is where, this funda has to be given that, okay, dharma, artha, kama can take you to some level, but that will be only a reversible status. After acquiring everything, you would still want something else in this scheme of things. And then when the question comes, so fine, then if I want that ananda, which will not revert back, I don't want any relapse, give me that kind of a medicine. Then it says, okay, then the medicine is mumukshutvam, and you have to understand yourself to be that ultimate thing. Moksha is that, 100% antibiotic. If you take that, everything is gone. Until then, everything you do is going to only enable the relapse of the particular disease, never, get you to a situation where you never return back in terms of these problems. So this is what happens actually. So in a limited measure, everyone has this sense of mumukshutvam, but in Vedanta, for a person to be qualified for Brahmajnana, you can say that the mumukshutvam has to be something like 60% level, wherein I just want to understand the concepts in life. I want to get out of this problem. There is something to be done or known or whatever. I want this help. Simple. Either they pick up a book, they don't understand, then they find a person who knows this book better, and then they go to that person. And the journey of finding a guru definitely can be arduous. And there I can definitely talk about my personal experience. I was inquiring. I didn't know how to inquire. I didn't know any kind of direction to inquire, which body of knowledge I had to rely on. I was I was only learning things from outside to some extent, and making my own concepts of God, being there, not being there, becoming an atheist, just concluding on oneself actually, on one's own experience and one's own limited knowledge. Accidentally, I happened to join Chinmaya Yoga Kendra. It was purely by an accident. I didn't ask for it. I asked for it in the sense of, being kind of a mumukshu, you can say. I asked for it in that sense. So I got that help. But it was grace. Completely it was grace. It just happened through someone's, my father's friend who suggested that, okay, Chinmaya Yoga Kendra classes are happening. Do you want to send your kids? This is how it started, and I joined the Chinmaya Yoga Kendra. In the first class itself, it was so graceful that I got the concept what they were mentioning. I got a hang of something what they were mentioning. Okay, this is something to be pursued. So that was very clearly, the direction was very clearly set. So to a larger extent, you can call this grace as well. And Shraddha is one simple thing which just makes you cross a bridge of 500 kilometers. You just happen to know that, okay, this person definitely can help. That Shraddha is an amazing bridge actually. So our Sampradaya and whatever is happening around us, whatever has been handed over to us, gives us an opportunity and clues of all these things. And if we have also had enough drive in ourselves to become free, this combination makes us reach the right person. And maximum what can happen? You go to one person, you pursue, you don't understand the language of this person, fine, pursue with another person. That's all will happen. It will become like a trial and error. If by chance, at the first stroke, you get the right person whose language you are able to understand, and this person is also able to really impart that knowledge, you are lucky enough. That's it. A part of luck is involved, but then luck is something which, we are not able to see. It's adrishta phala, but it is still a phala based on one's action only. It is just that we are not able to put, link the cause. That's the reason we say it is adrishta phala. So, to answer it in brief again, one always has this drive to become free. It's only that one has to understand in what way. So that has to mature over a period of time through life's experiences. And also the clue comes from Sampradaya itself. Yeah, does that answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Madan, you were probably asking something.
Yeah, not really asking, just an observation. So just like you said, right, me and Ashish being in this with you is extremely unlikely otherwise. There was no reason why we were sort of discussing those questions. And it's probably having reached a stage of having experienced dharma, artha, kama, moksha on a certain experiential level where we both sort of intuitively understood that it's not enough. That's what sort of prompted us to get into those conversations, and that's when we realized that, hey, you've studied so much, you're doing this, etc. Otherwise in a normal sort of a setup, it would have never sort of happened. Okay. That sort of again brings me to reflect on this Buddhist thing that we keep hearing, right? That when the student is ready, the master appears. So put differently, it's again like Mr. India. You can see him only with a particular lens. So you can't see him with the regular eyes. You have to see him in red lighted, you will see him, right? So which is probably something like that. That once you take off the lenses of dharma, artha, kama, the greed for those three, that's when your eyes really open, and you might find that, hey, the guru is sitting right next in front of me, and we are discussing, I don't know, CCMCs and capital allocation and budget, and suddenly you realize that, hey, this guy knows so much of what I'm really seeking, and so that click that happens, but for it to happen, you need to have gone through that entire curve of experience, like you said.
Yes, I agree. It's both ways actually. That person also should have already gone through the churning. They must be already looking for something, though it is not spelled out what is that actually. And at that time, if there is someone else, who's talking about those concepts, there the bridge keeps happening actually. That's where I think they connect. That connect word is a very nice thing actually. And
Thanks, Bhaskar.
and yeah, welcome. So we have also seen this actually. Unless people are connected to this topic, I mean, they've already come to a level where they know that yes, this is something very important, and they get connected to this. You can see that when we talk about this to some unconnected people, they are so waterproof or gyan proof from this sense of it that nothing would go and appeal them. It will just come back. It will just come back. 100% it will come back. Not even one dot will go there actually. That can also that happens. So unless this connection happens, there won't be success in this actually. And connect, one understands how the connect happens. That's all.
Yeah, so extending this same point that, if I take the clue from Shankaracharya's story, that even he went in search of Guru and he wasn't satisfied till he felt satisfied that this person will be able to answer my questions. Till that time, he did not call the other person his Guru, right? He went in search of a Guru. And it wasn't that the first person he came across became his Guru. It wasn't like that. He, as a disciple, as a seeker, he was seeking some answers. And so probably the same thing happens with us also, that I may find somebody more knowledgeable, or I may find that this person may give me, what I'm seeking. But somewhere, maybe, my will be some questions which may be left unanswered, or I feel dissatisfied with those answers, and I may look for something else or somebody else, somewhere else where I may get my answers. So probably this is a journey for each one of us, which may be different, which will unfold itself in its own course of time. So again, the word Shraddha comes in, that we have to have that faith.
Yes, exactly.
In how the knowledge will unfold to us. Yes, we are seeking it, but how it will unfold is also a different journey for everyone.
Yes, agree. See, Shraddha takes us very close to the source of knowledge. So that's what it does actually. And it gives you that attentiveness in terms of listening to whatever that person is going to teach. Still, if that person knows things, but he's not able to connect. For example, language can be a barrier. Yes. So I may be able to, speak better in Tamil or Hindi, maybe in terms of delivery, than English. It's possible. I may be able to speak better in English and not in any other language where probably the student would understand even better. So there are technical issues in communication that can create a problem. Though the person knows things well, he may not be able to connect with the student only because of the simple communication issue as well. It is also possible. So because of that, the person has to really find another person who can, communicate better. Even if this is not a defect in this person, because this person doesn't understand the language in which the student, understands even better. So there are simple reasons also due to which this problem can happen. And this pursuit being in the nature of inquiry and understanding, there is no way someone can accept something less than, the real understanding. There's no way. You cannot compromise because it is knowledge that is required. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Since this is in the nature of knowledge, one cannot compromise. One has to keep looking ways for getting better clarity. If the source is not helping, probably the same person itself can, guide this person to another person who can talk the right language, the way this person understands. And even given the same language, using English itself, one may be handling English in a particular way which may appeal to some set of people, and it may not appeal to the different set of people. This can also happen. So, all these are practical issues. I mean, in material world, these problems can happen. As much as, when you're pursuing spiritual knowledge as well, this can happen. Because finally, Shabda is the pramana, transaction is happening, our indriyas are working towards this knowledge, gaining this knowledge. So, when it is a transactionary world, there can be limitations. Definitely there can be limitations. The person may, That's the reason it is said the person not having Shraddha in terms of teaching definitely is not, considered as a scenario, because the definition of a teacher is very clearly said that ahetuka daya sindhu, even without any reason, he has some, kind of a compassion with which he is able to give that knowledge to others. Ahetuka daya sindhu. So there is no reason of, any decline in terms of motivation on the part of this guru, because that's what is the definition of a guru, that he has no reason to be less motivated on a particular day than any other day. There's no reason. So that's what is defined as a guru actually. So some of these shades you will always see, and you will always keep amending your kind of approach to get the right help. That's to some extent a trial and error, we can call it. And the lesser we are subjected to such a trial and error, the better if the hit is, for example, you just go and then you get the right person at the beginning, we are blessed. That's all. But this knowledge can never be denied, because a person, the moment he has already identified this requirement, this entire system will support it. There is no doubt. And some of these words, in certain books like Alchemist. So there you find this line coming very often actually saying, when you want to achieve something, the whole world conspires that you achieve it. So that line is a very nice thing actually. Many times people used to, tell me this, read this Bhaskar, you like this. So I read that actually, and I could understand what they mean that actually. And that definitely works. You want something that radiates and the system provides that help you. This happens. So that's what about, being able to get the right person, identifying the right person. If not, identify another right person, that's all. The world is so much. Luckily, though we are talking about Advaita in terms of second thing not being existing, luckily in Dvaita world, there are many gurus available of different choices as well, so that one can choose. You can go to Isha or you can go to Ravi Shankarji, anyone for that matter, at least you have choices. At least that Dvaita world is good enough in terms of variety. Okay, so Tamaradya Gurum Bhaktya Prahya Prakha Vishayavnehi Prasannam Tamanoprapya Prachidyatavim Atmanah. One has to go and ask what is to be done, what is to be achieved, what is to be known. Then, here, verse 21, shall I go to verse 21? Is it fine?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sure. This is where student expresses that, okay, I want to know, about the Atma Gyan, and then he is expressing his status actually. So he is saying, Durvara samsara davagni taptam, doduyamanam durudrishtavaataihi, vitam prapannam paripahi mrityo sharanamanyam yadahamna jane. So he's saying that I'm so fraught with fear. And about what kind of fear? Fear of death actually. So I'm worried about death, this body, being anitya. But I know that there is something, like nityatva. So he doesn't want anityatva because he feels there is something like nityatva that should be there. That's the reason he's asking for help. So he's saying, Paripahi mrityoho, bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho. Please protect me from this fear of death. I have fear of death. Bhitam prapannam, inside me. And like the way it is like, what I'm feeling is, he's saying that what I'm feeling is that, this kind of a cyclonic storm and this air, the storm which is there is creating a problem for me, and basically storm of thoughts. And duradrishtavaataihi, this kind of, air which is blowing me out is creating so much of problem in terms of, my own existence, bodily existence. So I'm so fraught with fear. I want to get rid of this. Please protect me, hey Guru. Sharanamanyam yadahamna jane. He says that I did not find any other asylum now. I am finding you as the only asylum, and please help me come out of this problem. That's what he's explaining. So basically, anityatva is what he's talking about actually. So having known that in Viveka, we know that Nityavastu Vekam Brahma, Tad Nityam Sarvam Anityam. So we have this idea. Now we want to understand what is this Anityatva all about? Why body comes? Why body keeps changing? Why does it decay? What is happening to me? Am I dying when the body is dying? So all these are the questions actually. So one's own status is challenged. because the body is undergoing a change. And not only that, our body is undergoing a change, the whole world undergoes a change. What we pursue as Ananda, Vishaya Ananda, once you get that Vishaya itself keeps changing. I mean, today you wash that copper vessel and tomorrow again you have to wash it. And one can be really perturbed with this actually. Every day, how will I wash it? I mean, it's nice today, but again tomorrow it goes to a different color, the copper vessel. So it becomes a daily issue that things keep changing. They are never the way I expect them to be, because world keeps changing. And forget alone, world keeps changing. If the copper vessel remains the same, at least for 12 hours or 24 hours, I get bored looking at the same bottle. I want a plastic bottle after some time. So I change. So if world doesn't change, I change. I get boredom. I mean, you buy, Van Heusen dress or whatever it is for 10,000 rupees a piece. It gives happiness. Oh, wow, new collection, fine. So after 1 year, you think, the same damn thing I'm thinking every day in the cupboard, and I want something different. Either color-wise you want different or brand-wise you want different. You are already bored with that item. But 1 year before, when you are buying it, that interest was completely different. And the item has not undergone any change. Hardly you might have used even once or twice in that 1 year. So nothing has changed as far as the dress is concerned. Only our mind has changed in terms of accepting that to be the source of happiness. So either the Vishaya changes or the person, the subject to he himself changes actually. So both ways it is not working. So beyond that, even the gross body itself keeps changing actually. So one finds that, where is the end to this? So he's going and asking, saying, boss, I'm really worried and I'm fraught with fear. And I don't find any other asylum. I've come to you, please help. That's what he's asking. Sharanamanyam yadaham na jane. So that's what he's saying. So we have another 10 minutes. Since these are small verses, I thought I can take the benefit of going quickly. And whenever you want to stop me and ask questions, please go ahead. Okay. This verse 22 talks about, again, the qualities of a guru only. As I mentioned, it talks in 2-3 places. This is one more. Shanta mahanto nivasanti santah vasantavan lokahitam charantah tirnaha swayam bhima bhavarnavam janana ahetuna anyanapi tarayantah. So these gurus, they live, they live and they are ones who know this. They are Shantah and Vasantavad, like the spring season, they try to bring about happiness around them. And Tirnaha Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam, having crossed the ocean of samsara, having understood oneself to be Brahman, having kind of removed the sense of world by understanding that to be mithya. Having crossed this ocean of samsara, Tirnaha Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam, Janana, they help people. Janana Ahetuna Anyanapi Tarayantah. So they help others also to cross the ocean of samsara, Ahetuna, without any reason. Not because of, fame, whatever. They just know that they have to help. That's it. That's the only reason why they do. There's no other reason why they have to do it. It's just that the knowledge has to be transferred to others as well, because one has benefited. Give the knowledge to others. That's it. So, ahetuna anyanapi tarayantah. So, this is what is said about, again, Guru only. And then, so in verse 23, again, as I mentioned, you can stop me anytime. I'm just going because these are all simple ones. So, Guru is answering that student, saying that student, hey, don't worry. There is a way in which your problem can be addressed, and this particular way is a time-tested way where many have used this method, and I have helped I have helped people cross this particular ocean of samsara. I will be telling you the same thing, same method, so that you can also cross the ocean of samsara. Ma bhaishta vidvamstava nastyapayah. He's saying, don't worry. So he's calling that person as a vidvan actually. So, oh student, or oh the learned one, don't worry. There is no problem for you. There is no danger for you. Nasti apayah. Samsara sindhostarane astyupayah. to cross this ocean of samsara, samsara sindhos tarane, to cross this ocean of samsara, there is a yukti, there is a method, asti upaya, there is one upaya, it is there, don't worry about it. Yenaiva yata yatayo asya param. By using this only, many people have crossed this ocean of samsara. Tameva margam tava nirdishami. The same marga I will be also giving you, which you can also use to cross this ocean of samsara. Simple. So basically, Guru is pacifying, the student, saying that don't worry, I understand your problem, and there is an established method which people have used to cross this ocean of samsara, to come out of this delusion, and I will be also using the same method to help you cross this ocean of samsara. Yes, Vivekaji.
Yes, sir, I had a question. In verse 23, why did the teacher call the student as the learned one? Is like there is any connotation? Like why the teacher addresses the student as a...
Nice question. See, even for a person to identify the problem is a very good step. It's a step good enough actually. So when you join a company, these days you will find in appraisals, you will find one category called self-awareness. So they always say, fine, are you aware of your limitations? Are you aware of your strengths and weaknesses? So this ability to know one's status is regarded, as an important thing. It's seen as a very important thing actually for a person's growth. And if a person is not introspecting and understanding, their own abilities, plus and minus, the strengths and weaknesses, first they are taught to, appreciate those things first. The introspection has to come first. Yes, we are not that great, for example, in taxation, I have to improve. So unless I improve, I'm not going to become a CFO. So I need these, qualifications to become a CFO. So I can't keep faking that. Yes, I know it. So what is the big deal? It is just, income taxes, 500 sections. So I know it. What is the big deal? I've studied in CA 20, 30 years before. So I can become a CFO. Can be an argument. But someone has to make them understand that was this act has undergone changes every year. So in all the 20 years, the act has undergone a change. You have not even updated yourself of the recent provisions. And you are calling yourself to be qualified for becoming CFO. Why don't you introspect yourself on your current status of your knowledge? So self-awareness, knowing one's problem, identifying one's problem to a larger extent is a virtue. And even if a person has that virtue, he can be called a Vidwan to that extent. So from that angle, we can say that, the Guru is addressing himself Vidwan. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any follow-up question from anyone on that? But that's a good question, Shraddha. Many times, we may take some words for granted, and some of them may not have the road because they would have already got this context. But we can never assume that, everyone has got the same context. So it's very important to ask such questions. Even if it's a very simple word, to ask that question, I think it's very important actually. I appreciate that. Just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, I'll just take. Sorry. I'm mindful that, Ashish has only another 4 minutes. So I'll just see if we can quickly go to the next one. So now I think they are now more getting into the real funda. Ajnana yogas paramatmanastava henatma bandhas tateva samsritihi tayor vivekodita bodhavaknihi ajnana karyam tadahit samulyam. So here they are getting into the concepts. So Guru is saying that because of ajnana, you have this problem. So it is basically ajnana. In fact, I'm just introducing this verse now. Later, this verse definitely requires more reading on your part, so that you can appreciate this better in the next class. But I will introduce this verse. He says that Ajnana is the real problem. So in the class we are always saying that ignorance is the root cause. That's the reason Jnana is going to help. Vichara, why we doing it? Because Vichara is in the sense of knowledge and understanding. That is what is the antidote to ignorance. And ignorance is the root cause. So this is where it is being pointed out. Ajnana yogat paramatmana stava. Since you have Ajnana, this kind of Anatma bandha. So Anatma bandha is everything that is anitya. Anatma is all anitya. So there are two things. Nitya vastu vekam brahma tadvitariktam sarvam anityam. So to a larger extent, you can say the nitya vastu is atma and everything else is anatma. So we can also keep it that way. So because of ignorance, you have bondage towards everything that is anitya, everything that is anatma. You are having this association with that only because of ignorance. And by invoking that knowledge, by through inquiry or whatever, bodha vagnihi. So from that knowledge, from the fire of knowledge, which arises through viveka, tayoho viveka udita bodha vagnihi. So viveka udita. So due to viveka, that knowledge which is born due to viveka has the capacity, has the capability to kill this ignorance from its root cause. So, to kill anything from the root cause is very important. So, when a doctor gives medicine, so they give a particular course, 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, whatever it is. They first understand the root cause. When the diagnosis happens, they never address the symptom. That's the reason when you go to a doctor, they ask, many follow-up questions. Okay, what's happening? Why? When? How many times this happens? So they go to the root cause. Unless they address the root cause, the real problem cannot be resolved. So root cause, this word root cause is very important actually. That is the cause of all cause, not the immediate cause, the root cause. It is very important. So, ajnana karyam pradahit samulyam. From the root, that particular problem will be removed. What will remove this problem? Viveka udita bodha vagnihi. That knowledge which comes viveka through this inquiry will remove this world which is a product of ignorance. Ajnana karyam. So this world is a product of ignorance. You see world because you are ignorant. That's the reason you see world to be true. This is what they are already starting to say now. And this will be, explained much in detail as we go further. Yeah, so I will stop with that here. Ashish or someone, if you want to go now, you can just say Hari Om and you can leave. Otherwise, you can continue. You can still ask questions.
Sure, I will leave, sir.
Yeah, fine, no problem.
Hari Om.
Bye. So, any questions? If you all have, we can discuss those questions in case you have. Fine, good. So I don't see any question here. Verse 24 onwards, we are getting into the real discussion. So next time also again we'll be discussing verse 24 only. I request everyone to read this verse so that they'll be prepared for much more questions. In fact, 25 also we will take up next time. 25 talks about the real issues. And the entire Vivekachudhamani is based on those questions. That comes in verse 25. He asks a sets of questions, I think 7 questions. And the entire Vivekachudhamani is answering this. And somewhere I think after 75% of Vivekachudhamani is finished, again the student will ask another question. So 7 questions are answered up to almost 75% of this time. And then the student follows up with some more question after that actually. So that's how the model is. So we'll see next time, verse 24 and 25. Right? Hari Om, and you will chant Purnamada Purnamida. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Have a nice day, all of you.
Are you okay now? You were coughing in between.